Hey, why does Andrew get up? If he gets up, we'll all get up. It'll be anarchy. Hopefully, we won't have a whole lot of anarchy today on this Monday, doo doo. Monday, May 15th, 2023, in the year of the, I don't know, is it the year of the rat? I don't even know where that came from. We used to go to this Chinese restaurant it was a Chinese buffet. It's still here, but I haven't been there in years. It was called Dynasty Buffet. And when it first opened, I was all over that place. Now we call it Dynasty Buffet. So I haven't been there in years, but they would have the menus and it would show you like it's the year of the rat or the year of the pig. I guess that's where that came from. 10:59 a.m. on the Swatch Watch here, Central Standard Time. Farm Fields of Valparaiso, Indiana, checking in. Oh, checking in here live. We'll do it live. S&P 500 up just a little baby bit. Dow nearly unchanged. NASDAQ is up almost 0.5%. The Russell, old Russ, is up 0.86%. And crude oil up nearly 1%. How about that? Maybe that Valero. Maybe we'll have some good action on it this week. That's the plan. So let's take a look at the watch list over on the finance.yahoo.com. CVS still making my butt stink. We need that to close above 70 this week. That's the plan, or we'll be rolling out the barrel. We have those 70 strike puts on the board, so we need that to cooperate. Tyson is starting to cooperate. We need that to close above 50 by the end of the week. It was a little bit over 50 earlier today, but it's fallen back down to 49.57. What else have we got our eyeballs on? We've got our eyeballs for sure on. We got some love action, but those are calls. I think they're 31.50, so those are just fine. Target. That's the big one that we are targeting today. Put on a crazy trade. It was crazy based on premium and volatility on Friday. Did we do 5? We did 5 put contracts, sold 5 put contracts on target at 155 and collected $2,550. Holy moly. So I was thinking to myself, that, when I put that trade on, I would probably, if things work out, I'll be able to close that at a nice, tidy little profit on Monday because Target has earnings before the bell on Wednesday. So in the morning on Wednesday, and they have ex-dividend date tomorrow. So there is Target announced a cash dividend of $1.08 with an ex-dividend date of May 16th. So that is tomorrow. So when we know what happens on ex-dividend date, the stock typically goes down. Not always, but typically will go down by roughly the amount of the dividend, because essentially the company is like, here, shareholders, take some of this money. We got so much of it. So theoretically, the company goes down by that much value because their cash coffers are relieved of all those dollar bills. Now, the other big date is Wednesday, and that's the 17th, but it is before the market opens on Wednesday, earnings date for Target. And who knows what's going to happen? They will, I would imagine, from what I've read and studied, they're going to beat on the top line, but revenue might take a hit on the bottom line. So we know what the market does lately. It does crazy things around the time of the earnings. So we will be looking to trade out of the target position. Where is it? Where are you at? We got a bunch of things going on, expiring 519. Here's our target. Oh, it's already down. Why? Target, I wanted you to cooperate. It was up nearly $500. Now it's down to plus 250. Still plus 250, but it looks like it's currently trying to trade down a bit. It was up as high as 160.40 today, and now it's down to 159.20. So still doing good, still sitting there at a nice number compared to the 155 that is our strike price. but it's now under pressure because it's going down as we speak. That could easily bounce back up today. When it does, I'd love to hit $500 in the profit, $500 bills, because when we put this trade on, we just opened up, we just backed the truck up and we raked $2,550 right there for those 5 contracts because of that volatility with the earnings day and ex-dividend coming up. So I'd love to be able to put a net of 500 of that in my pocket, but we won't be shy to take profit regardless, because I don't necessarily, I don't know, we'll decide as we go, but I don't necessarily want to have to be concerned with their earnings date, even though Target, long term, I'll own them all day and twice on Sunday. So we'll be eyeballing that. Several things going on today, or this week, so we'll be watching these. We got Blackstone. It's currently above 82, but not by a lot. Costco is around 500, so that credit spread is looking good. Coterra, though, is under pressure on these 7 calls. They're at 25.60 or so, 25.53. So we got a little pressure building on the Coterra calls there. When do they pay their next dividend? I think they cut their variable this time around. Let's see, we got an ex-dividend date of May 25th. So I'd like to keep those shares. Of Coterra. So I believe they are not paying their variable this upcoming dividend, though. Let's take a look. Dividend history. Yeah, so they're just paying their fixed at 20 cents a share. So maybe you can come get them. Come and get it. Come and take the Coterra off my hands. Let's make sure we would be at profit, though. What is our position on Coterra? 24.76. So we would be willing to let it go at $26 a share, because we've had some nice premium. We've collected nice dividends already. And what's our other position? We've got the 7. Oh, and then we got a 25.50 expiring next week. So that's under pressure also. So 5/26. What did we say that dividend date was? 25th. They could always be called away early. So at this moment, it would probably be called away early, and not meaning this moment. But if Coterra continues to perform and somebody wants that dividend, they will come and grab those shares from me from 25.50. So we'll decide what we'll do with those as well. Yes, we will. And CVS, like I said, currently underwater. Devon, this credit spread's doing just fine right now. Devon is over $47 a share. The Ford calls are, we could close those out anytime, or maybe even roll them out and down, because Ford is under $12 a share. The Gilead is at what, 78? No, 70. Yeah, just about 78. It's at 77.96. So we're under pressure there on those 5 contracts. What did we collect? We only collected we rolled it. So I'll have to get my spreadsheet out, check all my numbers on the Gilead going forward. But Brian's right. I got too many positions open. I need to par these down. So I was daydreaming over the weekend, thinking about, I'm going to come up with the top 100 dividend list. It's like the top 100 companies, dividend payers, based on just I've written down a bunch of things. Where's my little notes I was working on earlier? Dividend yield plus dividend growth, 5-year average, yield on cost, 5-year average, EPS growth, 5 years trailing and 5 years forward, payout ratio, dividend safety score. I'm going to try to create my own formula, because that's how my brain likes to work, and come up with like the top 100 dividend payers in all of the land, and then maybe pick 30, 40, 50 of them to own over time, over time. And the reason that I would want more than less is if, you get into a situation like Intel did with me. And, if you say you only had 10 companies that you followed or you invested in that were your dividend payers, and then one of them, like Intel, is like, sorry, time to give you a wedgie, and they cut their dividend by 50%, or cut it out completely, like some companies will do. then you've lost 10% of your income, like right off the top. So I want to be able to be diversified, and I like to follow a bunch of different companies. I would maybe want a little bit more concentration because right now I just am a little bit all over the board. Johnson and Johnson, this call, even when we rolled that out and down, still sitting pretty because Johnson and Johnson's like in the 159s. So we might put a credit spread on for this week on Johnson and Johnson. See what's up with that. And a number of other positions. I was contemplating what to do with these Google calls because they're deep, deep down into the money. Google's like flying high, 117. So I was running the numbers and it looked like, let's see here, where was that? Where's your little baby notes at? They're here somewhere. They're around here somewhere, but I was looking at the different returns annualized. I could still roll these out and have annualized returns of 10, 12, 14%. But I have to roll them out pretty far. I don't know. I'll have to contemplate. I might just let them go because my cost basis on Google is $92 and some change, not even including all of the premiums that I've collected along the way. So we'll figure that out. But I want to build up probably more of a cash position and then follow this market down and get better positions on companies that I want to own that pay me dividends long term. Like Pepsi's overpriced right now. I'd love to see that come down a bit. Coca-Cola still overpriced by a little bit, etc. and so forth. So like for instance, this Intel, I've got those 29 calls. Now again, you have to make the decision based on what is your actual play here. Because I could just keep rolling those, collecting the dividends, rolling them, collecting a little bit of premium, or I could let them go. And my cost basis on those is like 26.12. I could let them go, but then you of course trigger that tax event, which again, I'm not overly concerned with taxes because paying taxes just means you're making money. That's how I've always looked at it. Never want to owe the tax man. I remember I had a real estate friend years ago and we're out driving. He wanted me to go on a listing appointment with him and just give my opinion of this particular house. And this was a gentleman that was probably 10 years older than me, had been in the business at least 10 years longer than me, fairly successful, at least on paper. And as we were driving, and we'd become pretty good friends. So he confided in me at that moment. He's like, yeah, I'm working on a payment plan for the IRS. I'm like, a payment plan? He goes, yeah, $82,000. It's not funny, Bart. I'm $82,000 in the hole with the IRS. What? And that happens to a lot of real estate agents because, we're independent contractors. So we are paid with a 1099, which means we are responsible for our own taxes. So you need to be paying quarterly payments essentially forward, based on estimates of what you believe your earnings to be. So lady accountant and I, she has an accounting degree from Purdue, boiler up. We've always made it a point to pay our taxes. Now we don't overpay because we don't want to give the government free loans, interest-free loans, but we rarely underpay because at the end of the year or when that payment comes due on April 15th for the previous year, I don't want to owe them anything or close to anything. So what was that point? Oh yeah. You trigger a tax event if you sell your securities for a profit, right? And depending on the time that you've owned them, you could be triggering a regular income tax event where you're paying 35% of that profit, or a capital gains return or capital gains tax, which could be 15, 20, maybe even a little higher than 20 depending on your income if you've owned them a year plus. So if, like on these Googles, I would be triggering a regular income, ordinary income event. But again, I don't mind because it's taxes on actual income. So that's my check-in for now. I'm starving, so I gotta eat. I'm getting my act together this week though on the diet because I just been loving life too much, drinking wine, beers, eating out, living La Vida Loca. It's time to get it right, get it tight diet going. Eat right most of the time, cut down on the booze, only drink on special occasions until we shine that six pack back up because it's really blurry right now. Not only is it blurry, it's like basically non-existent. So got to make sure to have them back for my 5-year absiversary, which is the end of June. That doesn't leave me much time. So there's a check-in for today. I'll see you again because we've got some things. I know I got a SPY or two to close. Let's look. Yeah, this SPY right here expiring on Friday. 425/428 call credit spread, 5 contracts. It's at 100%, so we'll see about that because sometimes they trick you on these SPY credit spreads, I've noticed, when it comes to closing them, etc. So there we have it. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all of the above, and I'll see you in the next video.